Pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here, at least get them done.
All right, roll call, please.
Sewell.
Present.
Wyatt.
Here.
Buns.
Present.
Lawson.
Here.
Reister.
Here.
A motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda. Any questions or want anything pulled before? Okay, I'll look for a motion then.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Welcome, Dave.
And Jake and Chrissy and.
Well,
We don't count.
all right, I don't think we have any citizens' requests for oral presentations tonight.
Thank goodness.
I want
We
to
will
talk
then-
about parking.
What's that?
No!
All right.
We'll listen.
We'll move on to committee reports. Public Safety Committee, Kate?
We met on Thursday, March 24th. A lot of what we talked about is gonna be on this meeting a little bit later, so I'm not gonna go through a whole lot of it. Parking on 7th Street, again, that tabled from last council meeting back to committee, which we still hadn't gotten the actual lot lines. I don't know if those have been updated yet, but as soon as we get those, it'll go back to committee to discuss before it comes back to council. It is on council meeting tonight, but I'll probably have to.
I took it off.
Oh, never
took it
mind,
off
it's not
already.
even on there.
Okay.
AECom did stake out the lots. They staked out the right of way down there.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, well then we'll get that back to Public Safety Committee for the next meeting so that it can come back to council and figure out what the heck we're gonna do with that. Permanent speed sign was discussed on Waters Road. I don't know if most of you remember, but we did have a citizen come and was very appreciative of the changes we did for parking on Waters Road and offered to help put money towards a permanent speed sign out there. So Chief Banks is doing some research on different types of signs that we could potentially put out there. And the rest of everything we really talked about, most of it was about technology updates, which are going to be on, for the police department, which will be on the council agenda tonight, so we'll go through those. And the very last thing was discussion about possible additional staffing. We're in a very good position at the City of Hudson right now that we've got multiple people who actually want to come work for our police department, which is so much better than a lot of police departments' position are in right now. Unfortunately, we are full with the hiring of only one part-time that we're working on right now, so we will continue to discuss when and if we need to update to another full-time position later on, probably next budget year, once we can have different funding things for that, so. We adjourned at 4:48.
Okay, any questions for Kate? Okay, we'll move in and open the public hearing to amend the annual budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. Do we have any written comments?
No.
Any oral? I will close the public hearing then. We'll move into general government. Item A, discussion action to approve resolution 2907, a resolution approving an amendment of the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. And this is for the purchase of the HMEU building.
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
I think Lori got that.
Whoever.
any other questions or, okay, roll call?
Lawson.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Item B, discussion action to approve resolution 2908, a resolution to approve the final plat of Dean Lee Addition, City of Hudson, Iowa.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Item C, discussion action to approve resolution 2909, a resolution for approval of payment request number 1 regarding the diffuser bank stabilization project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
How is that going? Well, how's that?
It's done. All that's left is final grade and seeding.
Looks good?
Yes.
Roll call.
Lawson,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Sewell. Motion carries 5-0.
Item D, discussion action to approve resolution 2910, a resolution of the city of Hudson, Iowa, approving an application to the Blackhawk County Metropolitan Area Transportation Policy Board for Surface Transportation Block Grant Program funding Washington Street Reconstruction Project Hudson and directing execution of said application by the City Council of the City of Hudson, Iowa.
So moved.
You wanna read that again? No, I'm just kidding.
Second.
Yep.
I love looking for grants.
Yep, so okay. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Sewell. Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, item E, discussion action to approve resolution 2911, a resolution for approval of the project for technology upgrades for the City of Hudson Police Department.
So moved. Oh, second.
Discussion.
Any questions?
Questions? But
I will say, Dave, if you've got something you wanna talk about,
Yeah, we should probably talk about a few of these things. So we talked a little already about the trenching. I would recommend go with Hoffman and Hoffman. Their quote's $16,517.60 plus the cost of fiber, which Tetro's quoting 1,400 feet at $137 a foot, and Hoffman says in here it'd be less than $1 a foot, so another $1,400 or so. Still need to get the fiber terminated, which means somebody's gotta finish the ends off, and I don't know what that would cost, but it's probably a lot more than you expect, just because there's not that many people that do it correctly. So I would say that 16.5 would probably end up being about $18,000 or $19,000.
still considerably less than the other.
Yeah, considering we started at $1,500 a month for 60 months, so $90,000, and
Right.
you don't own it. This way you own it, it's yours.
Okay.
The other bid from Tetro was just shy of 31,000 for the whole thing, not even including the termination of the fiber, so, yeah. So that's my recommendation.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Are you going a different direction? I mean, after, you kind of put that aside, were you gonna talk about something else?
Just additional pieces to the project.
Well, so, just, when we walked out of here the other night, and it was potentially $90,000, I was like, holy smokes, that's a ton. And now you're saying like 18,000.
Yeah.
And so that makes me go, so, that's a huge discrepancy.
Correct.
And so how are these 90,000 guys even in business?
Well, they're
And
buying their internet.
are you sure we're
from
getting what we
also.
want?
Yes.
Okay.
The difference is, they would be, basically, they'd have to put in fiber, so they'd have some build-out expense, but they also have fiber running right down the street, and you'd be leasing a piece of that fiber. So
Okay.
that's part of their expense, that's probably the biggest part of their expense, plus whatever they have to do to get to both buildings from where they're at currently. I thought the price was outrageous, I
Okay.
told them that. I mean, you're getting an internet service from them coming up here in a month, for what, 800 a month or something like that.
And that's for internet and phones.
Yeah, and so this is kind of a different thing, that's really their main business. This other piece is what we would call dark fiber, where
Okay.
they're letting you use part of their stuff.
Got it.
It's not their core business, so, yeah,
Okay.
they're kind of intentionally priced high.
Got it, got it.
And with this, with doing it this way, it'll be our line forever. We won't have to
Yeah.
lease it and do agreements and
Yeah.
all of that.
I was just thinking with a, what is that? $70,000 difference on a $90,000 top end, that's enormous, and so I'm just kind of wondering, what are we missing here?
Yeah, it's apples and oranges, really. I
Okay.
mean, the first option was the only one I was aware of, and then it's like, well,
Got it.
we can run fiber between it and then you own it.
Cool.
And I had no idea where these quotes were gonna come in, so I was pleasantly, actually, I got the $30,000 one first, I'm like, great. And, the other
Don't
one
tell that to the
came
other
way
guys.
less, so, yeah, it's
Yeah,
all,
cool.
it's all good.
And on the other side of that too, Hoffman has done most of the trenching work and boring work in this town for the last 40 years, so.
Great.
Yeah, he mentions that they've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they're
in the
very
ground
familiar with how to
already,
do
yeah.
all this for us
Around the
too.
area and all that. So, but his prices were quite a bit lower on every line item, so, yeah, I know, and I think Hawkeye Alarm even suggested that. I just, Tatro I called, because I called, the IT guy for Waverly Utilities, and he said, well, this is who we use. here in Waverly."
Should have said,
So,
haha.
yeah. No, I'm not gonna do that. He's a client now, so, I wouldn't do that to him, but next time ask me, I'll get you a deal.
Yeah.
There's some other pieces to that, and these are quotes from Hawkeye Alarm. I don't know if you guys have reviewed all this stuff yet or not, okay? So, cameras, all that comes in about $6,000. Access control system is quite a bit more, so on the locks, $10,573. So all that, I'm assuming you're approving all that stuff as well.
Yeah, it's all
Um,
one.
Our piece of that is we have to put a switch in there, a UPS, which is a battery backup, and we've got some labor. Our challenge right now is the switches are not available, and so we have to step up a model to get something within a reasonable time frame, and it could add $800 or $1,000 to the project. Otherwise, right now, they're saying, they don't even know, there's no ETA on it, so probably 3 or 4 months.
Welcome to the world of 2022.
Yeah, and especially in technology, it's crazy, yeah. It's insane, I mean, a year ago it was laptops, I couldn't get them, and now it's switches and Wi-Fi access points and all that kind of stuff. So there could be some variances, I guess, coming based on availability of product. But everything else, the last piece was the new PCs for the police department. I think I can still get those, but we'll see.
We talked about in committee too, I mean, there was a couple of pieces, but really doing if we're gonna do this project, we need to do it how it needs to be done. And I said it during the committee meeting, I feel like computers, computer storage, and their things that they do for our police department are just as important as the weapons they carry, because, you know, you have to have that technical backup part of everything too. So is there places we could cut $500? Probably, you know, do we need 5 PCs? Could we get away with 4? But if we're gonna do it, should we just do it to make sure that everybody's got their own access points and everything's stored the way it should be? And that's kind of the consensus that everybody came to in the committee meeting too, so. Without, I don't wanna say nickel and diming, because you are nickel and diming the project, because you wanna make sure it's being used correctly. But there's not a $10,000 difference that we could cut out of this project, which would make a big difference, so.
And we do have the funding from the, is it the CARES Act?
Yeah.
COVID
Yeah.
relief.
And
The
then
COVID
also
money.
reserves,
Mhm.
I thought I saw,
Yeah,
so.
so,
Yep.
the only thing that we kind of talked about is there's not a specific budget for this project, which, because of the nature of the beast of this coming so fast. So we're trying to just scrutinize every piece of it, which is what we did in committee, but we want to make sure that they've got the right equipment they need as well, so.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Roll call?
Sewell. Wyatt.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item F, discussion action to approve resolution 2912, a resolution setting date of public hearing on urban renewal plan amendment for the Hudson Dean Lee subdivision urban renewal area, increasing the not to exceed amount due to increase in construction costs.
So moved. Second. That's setting the public hearing for what date?
April 25th.
Thank you.
Yep, because we have a 30-day waiting period right now.
Okay.
So,
And for anyone who's maybe just listening, what Dean Lee subdivision, do you wanna just give a quick,
Is that,
the Dean Lee subdivision is the 7 residential lots off of South Hudson and Ranchero that Kurt Babers is doing.
to the
West.
west of
Yes,
what, Hudson?
yes.
West of D&W floor
Okay.
covering and all those.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is this is the final plat, so he's
Great.
got all of his stuff together, and
Mhm.
this is just the final step.
Great.
roll call?
Sewell. Wyatt.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item G, discussion action to approve resolution 2913, a resolution setting a date of meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Jennifer and Kurt Babers, including annual appropriation tax increment payments, same as above, and that's then for the April 25th date.
Yep, that's correct. And this is all we're doing is we're amending, the urban renewal plan as well as the development agreement because of the increased construction costs, like everything else, so.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion, questions? Roll call?
Lawson,
Aye.
Reister,
Aye.
Sewell. Buns,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
motion carries 5-0.
Okay. 3 information items in the packet. Reminder items, regularly scheduled meetings are held at the council chambers except for electric board and library board. Public Works Committee, April 13th. Mayor's Task Force meeting, April 19th. Personnel Admin Finance Committee meeting, April 25th. Public Safety Committee meeting, April 28th. Next 2 council meetings will be April 11th and April 25th.
Move to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Bye, Lori and George.
I just have one question.